Welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. It's Dane. I'm here solo tonight, so I've got a special kind of quasi co-host. It's not every day I have a Green Bay Packer joining us here. And folks, tonight, Green Bay Packers punter Daniel Whelan. Daniel, welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Dude, we're so happy, and I'm so happy to have you on tonight. Listen, right away, I got to ask you, you're relatively new to the team. So the first question, anybody who's new to the organization, I have to ask you, Daniel. Daniel, how does it feel to be a Green Bay Packer?
I'm honored, honestly. It's a blessing. I'm very grateful I got the opportunity to come here. It's been already life-changing, so I'm very grateful for that.
And I hear that, man, and I gotta ask you because you have a really interesting background. But your last stop, you were all XFL with the DC Defenders, and we were watching you launch some balls, and we've been watching a lot of video on you. Very excited to have you in Green Bay, but maybe, if you don't mind, can we start a little further back? You were born in Ireland, right? I mean, how's a young dude from Ireland end up on the Green Bay Packers? Because it's a very interesting journey.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of chapters in my story, I would say, but I think I was about 13 years old, and my mom got a job in Palm Springs, and she got it. And we just basically said, yeah, we're just going to up and move straight to Palm Springs, and it took us like a month. We only came here with 2 suitcases, and then I went like straight into high school. Yeah, so that's where I got my start in America. I was in Palm Springs, Rancho Mirage High School, and I did not know a single thing about football. Yeah, and then basically my end of my sophomore year, I was playing soccer and like doing tennis and everything. And then the coach Matthews, head football coach, asked me to try out for kicker for the football team. And I was like, I don't know. Might have to ask mom on this one. And she said no at first. And then he convinced her to say yes because, I mean, being a punter, like kicker, you don't really get like hurt. She thought I was just going to get like hurt all the time. So it's pretty easy to convince her after that. But yeah, that's like the first.
Incredible. I mean, so did you grow up playing?
Sorry, that was just like my first.
Did you grow up playing? It's amazing. Did you grow up playing soccer? I mean, what did that look like? I read you might have been a rugby guy too. I mean, it's funny. Your mom's worried about football, but I think rugby is pretty tough too. What is that like?
Rugby is very intense, I would say. I actually got more injured playing rugby than I have playing football, knock on wood. But rugby is very intense. It's just 2 halves of 40 minutes just constantly tackling and hitting each other. But it's like a gentleman's game, I'd say. It's fun.
So dude, you get to the States. I'll be honest, I hadn't heard you speak until we had a chance to talk here a little before. I was expecting a thicker Irish accent. You got a little bit of a California in you though. So where does that come from? It's very fascinating, man.
Yeah, you're definitely not the first person to say that to me since I've been here. But yeah, I think I got here before I hit puberty, and I think that's one of the main reasons why my accent was gone, because when I got here it was thick, and now I'm a Californian, so it's a little bit in the dust now, but it's sad. I want it back.
So are your mates back home? Like, do you have friends back home still? Like, what are they like, dude, what happened to you?
I mean, I stay in touch with a couple of people, but I don't think they really hear my voice a lot. So I don't think they really know how much I've changed. So I mean, I haven't been back in about 4 or 5 years because football just like progressed pretty quickly. So kind of just been getting more American.
What's your what so you're speaking of American, I gotta ask, dude. So you were young when you were in Ireland, you moved to the States. So are you pro Guinness? Are you anti Guinness? What's your stance on the beer Guinness? Because I feel like that's a very Dublin. That at least that's my view from the States. What's your vibe on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're not really Irish if you don't like a good pint of Guinness. So I do enjoy it, but I can't do it at the moment.
I had to ask. So, dude, no, it's not possible, right? It's yeah, I can't imagine. What's camp been like so far for you as a punter for the Packers?
I really enjoy it. I'm always constantly on the move, doing something every chance I have, really, for like 2 hours, meetings, everything. I'm just constantly like learning and progressing what I do at this game. So I really enjoy it. It was fun.
And what's your impression been then of the organization, the Packers? I know that last year you were with New Orleans for going into camp, and then you were the XFL, as I mentioned, with the DC Defenders. But getting this opportunity in Green Bay, what's your impression of the organization, Lambeau Field, Green Bay? I mean, I know you haven't been here long, but I'm sure you've got a bit of a read on what's going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, the city itself, I don't think I've met any nicer people in the world. Everybody's just so thorough and genuine, and really appreciate that. And Lambeau Field is obviously very historic, and it was like damn, that's the Lambeau Field. I always played it in like Madden and stuff and saw it on TV, but like in person, it's like wow. And then the organization, amazing, run by great people, and I couldn't be like happier to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you here. Do they give you any background on the team and the history of the team, or is that something you kind of just soak up as you kind of walk through? Because I know, listen, I'm partial. I'm the host of a Green Bay Packers podcast. I obviously think the Packers are incredible, but this team does have true history and deep roots in the NFL. So, is that something that is shared with you, or is that something you just kind of learn walking the halls of Don Hutson's center and the practice fields in the locker room?
Yeah, I'd say it's something you like learn as you go. I mean, sometimes it's brought up on the walls and stuff as all the Hall of Famers and like big moments and stuff like that. So when you're walking down the hall, you can just like take a look and you basically learn yourself as you're going. So
And
yeah, so
that's so cool. I mean, and I've had a chance to get through Lambeau a little. I've been to a million games, but I always love the perspective, especially from somebody who's new to the organization. So I love to hear that. And Daniel, I'm curious. I think a lot of focus getting maybe to the field a little bit. I know a lot of the focus is going to be on the leg, and I think you're an incredible punter at placing ball inside the 20-yard line. You've had a ton of success in your career doing that. But what I'm curious about, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that, but what I'm curious about is as a holder, have you had experience in college? And forgive me, in the XFL, I'm not aware if you did or didn't have experience as a holder, because I know you've been holding a fair number of holds so far throughout mini camp, and just what's your experience in doing that?
yeah, I held in college and in the XFL as well. So I've been holding for a while, but I'd say like since I've been here, holding's first, punting second. So your hands have to be right, and you literally, well, kicking makes the money, right? Kicking, getting points. So you got to be money while you're holding. So your hands have to be perfect. So I would already say I've gotten way better at holding since I've got here, since that's like a pretty big emphasis here, and I really like it.
So that's super interesting. So is that something that the Packers organization has been kind of imprints upon you too? That it's holding first, punting second, or is that something that you're just working on, or you know what I mean? What does that look like to you? Because that's very fascinating to me.
Well, I would say, yeah, Byron Stora and Rich Bisaccia, they emphasize kicking. Kicking is probably very important. Well, yeah, they get the points, and we need points to win the game. So that's like how it goes, like kicking and then holding and then punting. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it. But I would say holding is a very, very important job as a punter. And
Yeah.
it kind of hit me a lot when I got here because they emphasized it so much. I was like, oh, wow. Like now you put it like that. It's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So what does it mean then as a holder? Like what do you look to accomplish? And it's cool because this is a podcast where we love talking to guys about the ins and outs. Our listenership is not a casual fan base, right? This is folks that are very dialed into the Packers, the organization, and the ins and outs of the game, and we love that about our listeners. So as a professional holder for the Green Bay Packers, what does that look like? What are you looking to accomplish? What goes through your head? Every single snap and what do you consider a flawless hold then?
Flawless hold. Well, you try to be perfect every time. Obviously, the first thing you got to catch the ball, so you have to have like your hands and your eyes on the ball, point of contact, and then wherever we put the spots where our hand is on the ground before we catch it, and that's where the kicker honors. That's where he tells you he wants to put the ball, and then based on like conditions, there's like a different type of lean on the ball, like we hold it forward, all that, and then like the laces out too, and the snipers help with that based on how we catch it and everything like that. So it's very technical, and we do it about a million times in practice, so that when it's time to go, it's perfect. But
So,
it's
and
great.
I love that. It's so cool. I mean, so you talk about the tilt on the ball. So would you forgive me for this thought exercise, but would you on a rainy day try to put the ball down a different way than on a 80-degree and sunny day with the tilt, or is it more wind based, or what is that like?
I would more say wind because that has a lot of effect on ball flight. So yeah, going into the wind probably just a little forward, so drives it more, get more rotation, so the wind doesn't really affect it as much. On a rainy day, I just like got to catch the ball. It's gonna be wet, so you just got to put it down correctly, and yeah, and then yeah, I mean, it's basically just making sure it's perfect for honors to kick it.
And are you a glove guy? Do you rock the gloves, or are you a no glove guy?
I've been doing no gloves, but I don't know. It seems to get a little cold up here thinking about it, but I haven't done it before, so it'll take a lot of practice.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, we'll give you some suggestions on winter jackets if everything goes as planned for you here because it gets pretty damn cold. Definitely, if the wind starts swirling in Lambeau Field. Going to the punting game, the technical aspect of that. You know, I think it takes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's definitely a lot of mental fortitude that goes into punting the ball. There's a ton of pressure, especially you're backed up or wherever you are on the field. So, do you try to hit the ball a different way? Do you try to get the ball off faster when you're backed up in your own end zone, instead of being on, say, the 40-yard line? What are the mechanical differences based on where you are on the field?
Well, I'll say if I'm backed up like deep in the end zone, usually they're gonna bring a all out pressure. So in my head, it's get the ball out, like just but like mentality like past the 50, so it takes them a first down to kick a field goal. So, but you just got to be as fast as you can and like that type of aspect. And then yeah, there's so many technical things you can do throughout the little you get closer to the red zone for punting, there's just so many ways you can hit the ball.
And do you try to put backs like and for that, I always watch because like I feel like you're really masterful at placing the ball inside the 20. It's something that I've watched a ton of video on you since you signed in Green Bay. Is that something that you practice more often than say you're and forgive my layman terms, but you know the straightforward punt where you're just like blasting the hell out of the ball? Or
Mhm.
do you practice a lot more of kind of touch and placement, like a pitching wedge, so to speak, to use a golf term, or you know, what does that look like, you know, on a given day in practice? You know, is there variation in that? I'm always curious about that with specialists.
It depends on the day. We could have like a red zone punt day where we'd only do those type of punts, and then we could have like an open field day or mix and match. So, but I would say the harder punt to hit is the regular punt because you kind of have to match your distance and hang time. So if I hit like a 50-yard punt, I'm trying to hit like 5 seconds of hang time so the gunners can get down there, which I would say is the harder one.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, I've watched a million games where the punter might absolutely kill the ball off the foot, but they kind of outkick their coverage a little bit. And then you see the return guy, you know, the return guy gets a 10-yard head start and, you know, look out, who knows what happens from there. Is that something that the coaching staff preaches to you on the regular too, to kind of, you know, balance it out as much as he can?
Yeah, like you'd rather miss high than far. Like you'd rather have more hang time than distance in this game because these returners are deadly and will punish us. So you got to put like your ego aside and kind of let the team first.
And do you have what does that relationship look like then with your fellow special teams guys, especially the coverage guys like that on punt? I mean, is that something where you're communicating quite a bit with them, even in camp, or is that something where you know you've got your job to do, they've got their job to do? Yeah, I know you've got a protector. I've seen Darnell Savage has been personal protector at times already this in mini camp, but is that something where you're communicating with the protector, or you know, how does that kind of work as well? I've always been very curious to see, you know, kind of the backstory because there's so many moving parts on any given play on special teams.
Yeah, we sort of let the protector know where we want to put it, and then they tell the gunners where the ball should be going, and it's our job to put it in that location so that they can do their job correctly. So it's kind of like everybody has to do their job at the exact same time, or the play is bust. So it can get really complicated.
Yeah, yeah, no pressure, Daniel, right? Like, especially back there. I mean, I think the casual fan watches the game and they just think, you know, just quote unquote, oh, the punter kicked a 45-yard punt. Great, that's it. But there's so much that goes into so much of that. Mentally speaking, how do you prepare for a game then? And even how are you preparing going into mini camp practices? Because you know you're coming in, you've got a veteran already here on the team at the punt position, but you're certainly not a slouch. I think you're a very competitive athlete on this team, and you're somebody that I think has a very real opportunity to make waves in camp this year. So what's your mindset going into camp right now in Green Bay and getting that opportunity after showing out in the XFL?
I would say at first it was like, don't mess up, but then I was like, that's not really a good mindset. After we have like a couple of mindset sessions with Dr. Carr, which is phenomenal. It's just a lot about like mindfulness and everything like that. But I definitely try to like just enjoy the moment, like kind of have fun with it, like look where you are, be where your feet are, and kind of just and like as I've progressed like through camp, I've just like smile, like be happy, like kind of like free almost, instead of being like, oh my goodness, if I mess this up, like, which is like not the right mentality. And I feel like I just perform better when I'm like happy and upbeat and positive compared to nope. So
Though
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, is doc and so explain who Dr. Carr is, if you don't mind. Is this somebody that does sports psychology for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah. Yeah. I believe I think he's been here 3 or 4 years, and he's been talking to the team about like meditation and mindfulness and performance and everything like that. And I think, I mean, that helps athletes like us being under pressure all the time, but just like how to practice it, journaling, everything like that. I mean, if you can like get to the point where you're doing everything like that every day, your head will be like totally clear of stress but it's so hard to get to. But just like anything, if you just keep doing it, you'll get to that point. So I'm definitely gonna try.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I need Dr. Carr in my life a little bit some days too. I like that mentality, dude. Do you have a favorite moment, whether it's high school, college, XFL, NFL, as a punter, a moment on the field? Is there anything that sticks out to you?
I mean, I've had a lot of punts. Um,
And you punted at UC Davis, right? Out there in
yeah,
California? Yeah.
like a favorite, like just on the field moment, or
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dealer's choice, but yeah, something that sticks out from whether it's just like one time you dropped one in the inside the five or whatever. I'm just kind of curious if there's a moment that just really
uh,
lands in your mind.
okay, this is like major throwback to like freshman year of college, where I got some playing time, and I this is like my first kickoff, I think, and I kicked it off. We're playing like Portland State in Portland, and he like had a pretty big return, but I made a tackle, and like I got up, and I was just like, "Let's go!" What are you doing? He got like 60 yards return on it. I was like, oh, like my bad. Did not know that, because I had like in rugby, like you can get hyped and stuff like that, but yeah, I was kind of like all right, reality check. Can't do that anymore.
Well, did you where'd you take him down? Did you take him down in the out of bounds, or did you take him down at the legs, or where did you get this guy, this return guy?
But wrapped him. He kind of just ran at me, and I was just like, "Yep, we're just falling together," and I got it. So
I love it, dude. Well, and you're not a small dude. I mean, like I was looking. You're listed what, like 6'5", 6'6"? I mean, holy smokes! So we're not talking about like the punter from a bygone era that might be 5'9". Like, dude, you can lay some wood, I bet.
yeah, I've definitely put on some weight now, some good weight. So I'm happy about that, and yeah, just stay in the weight room and stretching and doing all that, so I can, you know, hopefully never make a tackle, but when the time comes, I'll be ready.
What's your diet looking like these days? What are they putting you on?
I mean, I just eat everything they give me, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal food. Smoothies, you just make them however you want, and it's like ready for you. It's pretty insane. And then they have like salmon, chicken, everything. All like the nutritious foods you need to like nourish your body with. So there's a lot of water as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet. I bet. And outside of the game of football, um, who are you? What do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies? Are there any things that you like to hang out, and just kind of do when you're not trying to make an NFL roster?
I mean, I like to golf. Started getting into golf a lot. That's very fun. It kind of goes like hand in hand with like punting and kicking. Like a lot of similarities and like mindsets are kind of the same. Like how to hit each shot basically, but kind of go out there and just like have fun, but sometimes I get a little too into it. Uh, I mean, I enjoy playing like games on my Xbox. I like watching shows. I have a dog in California who I get to see tomorrow, so very excited to take him out. Uh, I mean, yeah, I've kind of just been locked in on football here, so haven't really gone out much or done anything.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. What kind of dog do you have back home?
Uh, German Shepherd Retriever, like almost 60 pounds, obedient.
Yeah, I was gonna say no energy at all, man. Right? With a retriever shepherd mix. That's wild.
Oh, I can't. It.
Oh, that's so cool. And are you a music guy? Do you listen to any music or anything before the game, or what are you riding around in? What's that about?
I'm riding around with like any type of music, to be honest. Like, I got big into country after the XFL, so I was down in Dallas. So there's a lot of country vibes. So got into country. I like rap. I like the EDM music when I work out. Kind of just really like all of it. But on game days, I'd say like more like head bob type of music, like to get the
Mhm.
energy up. So
No, I get it. And everybody's different with that one, I've talked to dudes that are like, I listen to heavy metal. Other guys are listening to jazz. Like everybody listens to something different to get into different mindsets. That makes a lot of sense. And Daniel, I want to be mindful of your time. We're recording this on the final, what was the final day of mini camp. And y'all were paintballing today. So I'm sure you're sore and you're tired. But one last question, dude, I've got for you is just as a Packer fans looking out or looking in now and following your time here, Daniel Whelan's time here in Green Bay. What kind of football player are the Green Bay Packers getting in the punter Daniel Whelan?
I feel like I bring a lot of like good energy. I'm like pretty happy. I like talking to everybody. I like to have fun with what I do and enjoy the game a lot. And I mean, I want to win a Super Bowl, so my mentality is like I'm a winner, so I want to win. And you know, yeah. I mean, I bring the energy, so
This is
I'm
great.
kind of goofy too. So I'll like have I'll just be funny and have jokes with everybody. So yeah.
Oh, my man. Well, Daniel, thanks so much for taking the time, joining our pod tonight. It means a ton to us. We're so excited to follow you, to track you through mini camp or now, I guess, shoot, going right into training camp here, end of July, early August. We'll be at camp. We'll be cheering you on. We'll definitely be saying what's up to you when we're there in person. But before we let you go, Daniel, can you do me a favor and just give us a Go Pack Go?
Go Pack, go!
Go Pack Go, folks. That's Daniel Whelan, punter for the Green Bay Packers. Gonna go get after it. Thanks so much, Daniel, and folks. Go Pack Go, be legendary. Go Pack Go. Thanks for listening.